Sutler is a crowdsourced, hyper-localized app that rewards local users exploring their local community. Sutler lets local businesses connect directly with their best customers, locals, sharing time-sensitive deals and exclusive Sutler specials only offered on Sutler. Locals know best, not an algorithm. Sutler. Trust local. You're listening to Real to Real with Coach Herb and B, a podcast that brings you community and culture with your host, Coach Herb and B.
Yes.
One, go.
Hey, yo, what's happening? This is Coach Herb. I'm joined by my girl B as usual, and
Hey, guys.
my main man Ben's in the background, just gonna hit us to some history of Black History Month.
I'm really excited.
Yes,
Black History Month.
the best month of the year.
Correct. I'm so happy that you said that.
And it's
very proud to be.
and it snowed in February. So
Gonna
that's
keep
that's
snowing.
a little
Doesn't it
unusual.
not? Every February.
That's a little unusual for this area. It's been a hit or miss for a while now. So I think because of the change, it's kind of funny, the change of climate in politics and then the change of climate in the weather.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a really good segue for this Black History Month. So Mr. Ben, how's it going, man?
It's going well. Thank you so much for the kind intro and our local weatherman, Herb.
That is correct. Local weatherman.
Local weather.
Yep.
I do it all.
So for this segment of our Black History Month podcast, what we wanted to kind of talk about was the origin of Black History Month, because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions or even just funny anecdotes as to why this month might have been picked. And doing some research, I definitely learned a lot, took a lot of notes, and it sounds like Herb and Bianca either already knew a ton or also learned during this process too. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, the shortest month in the year. Oh no, never mind.
That's all right. That's okay. You know, every 4 years we get an extra day.
Yes.
So, you got
bonus.
bonus day.
Does that mean you get an extra day on your check too?
Maybe not. Who
Maybe
knows?
not.
But I'll look out for that in a little while when the next one comes. I have no idea when that is. But yes,
There you go.
Correct, right?
So do you guys know who actually started the Black History Awareness initiative, basically? Because it didn't always start off as a month.
Yes,
No, actually, I don't. I heard some names, but I couldn't narrow it down. What was the gentleman's name again? He's
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, Carter G. Woodson.
That's what. Yes, Yes.
And pretty cool for us, he was a local person.
Yeah.
He was born in Virginia and lived in D.C., went to school in Chicago. Like we work for the Y, obviously, and we know about Anthony Bowen and his importance to the African American community in D.C. But it's really cool for me to find more people that are really a positive force for African Americans and the Black culture that grew up right here where we are.
Yeah, I was surprised that he was from.
The Woods. Is it any correlation to the schools that are in? There's one in D.C. and there's one in Virginia, but it's the name Woodson.
I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, the high schools are like W.T. Woodson and I think the one in D.C. is named after him.
Carter Woodson.
I will
look that up. Exactly.
Yeah, I will do some research as we are talking. But WT, I highly doubt it because his initials aren't WT.
Right.
What the?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think that's pretty cool that he is local. Do you think that him and Anthony Bowen connected at some point?
Then I don't know.
Or was Anthony Bowen after?
Yeah, I think Anthony Bowen might have been after.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm thinking about it.
But it's interesting because, he went to Harvard and wanted to push this whole Black history awareness. It was more awareness, more so than it was kind of. They named it history, but there was more Black awareness that to let people know that you know, blacks have done a lot of things.
Yeah.
So,
And here's a week where
so
we're going to try to highlight it at least.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of accomplishments just for any one individual, whether black or white. And obviously this is the one of the bigger lasting ones that affects everyone across the country. But he authored more than 20 books. He was actually a principal at the Armstrong Manual Training School in D.C. He was a dean at Howard University, as well as at the West Virginia Collegiate Institute. So he impacted a lot, and he was a big reason why he helped fund the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which eventually kind of moved on and went and changed names to something else. But he actually didn't just settle down and say, oh, I want to teach, or oh, I want to write, and just kind of felt accomplished with one thing. He did a lot in his life.
Mm-hmm. Brought a lot of awareness.
Did it start off as a day or a week or a month? What was it like? Started off as a
It
week?
was Negro History Week. So it was a week where I believe they based it, of course, around Abraham Lincoln's birthday and Frederick Douglass, but it was a week.
Yeah,
so,
in
so Frederick
1926.
Douglass's birthday is coming up.
So funny.
You ready?
Well,
Yeah.
funny story about that is Frederick Douglass, because being a freed slave, he actually never knew his birthday. So he just always used February 14th, so Valentine's Day. He just always, just celebrated his birth on that day, but he actually doesn't know when his real birthday was.
So he was getting a lot of love.
That's right.
A lot of love on his birthday. He was like Valentine's Day and my birthday.
You know what? Was it Valentine's Day back then?
I don't know if that was a
right.
big
I don't
hallmark day at that time, but that would be really messed up if they took his birthday from him and turned it into Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be surprising.
True.
It is not now to a lot of people. How about that, Herb?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, honey, we're not celebrating Valentine's Day. We're gonna celebrate birthday.
You're just gonna get you a cake and say happy birthday, like, Frederick Douglass.
It's funny too, because like my birthday is actually on the 14th. It's not the 14th of February, but it's the 14th. I can't tell you what day it is because I share it with somebody that a lot of people despise at this moment. So
yes, he does.
Who is that?
He just reminded me of it when he said it, because I remember like a couple of years ago when that happened. I was like,
we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
So to talk more about Mr. Woodson, so he was actually born in Virginia, as we alluded to, but he actually worked as a sharecropper, a miner, various other jobs to support his family, which in return actually caused him to enter high school later. But he actually graduated in less than 2 years, so he made up that difference of having to support his family and not just being able to be a kid and to live his life and having to give back to his family at a young age. But he still was able to buckle down, go to high school late, and graduate in less than 2 years. He became only the second African American after W.E.B. Du Bois to earn a doctorate from the University of Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. He was the smart guy.
Yeah.
And then as you, Bianca, and Herb were talking about, he turned to his fraternity, Omega Psi Phi, to help create the Negro History and Literature Week in 1924, because he believed young African Americans at the time were not being taught enough of their heritage. So to Herb's point, it's not necessarily history lessons. We're not going to talk about, this is the day you came over on a boat and this, that. It's really to celebrate their accomplishments, to have them understand, the significance of them in America.
Yeah, it was little bit of awareness lessons, which that's what they termed it a little bit. So a lot of the stuff that they were doing, trying to like just teach them like these people did this and this is what happened, and it was actually a black person that invented the light bulb, but we're not going to go too deep into that, and and stuff like that. So he he pushed it, and they started with a week, and then they, I think, moving forward, they went into a month. They turned it into a month, right?
Yeah, in 1976, on the 50th anniversary of the first Negro History Week, the association that him and his friends in Chicago had formed, which had been renamed to the Association for the Study of African American History, officially shifted to a Black History Month. There were already people across the country who were celebrating the week and asking for course materials, which they were struggling to keep up with the demand because there were so many people who wanted to to share that rich and vibrant past of African Americans here in
Yeah.
America at the time, that eventually they were going past the week having to explain and teach children about that. So they did, on the 50th anniversary, turn it into a whole month instead of just 1 week.
Which is still not enough
It's
time,
still
but
not, yeah.
it'll be for now.
That's right, Herb. We on the same page. It's still not enough time. It's
And
interesting.
we're not talking about just the days. It's just the information that you would need would cover more than a couple of months. But you
True.
know, the cost of it is good, because I think it actually brings a light to the month of February, the Black History Month, and and people starting to pay attention to it more, and schools are usually using it as a time to teach kids. So there's some positives that come out of it. So
Well, when I was in high school, or more so in school, right? I didn't experience Black history as much. I don't know about
it
either
was
of
very,
you.
yeah, it was about a week.
Yeah, like how you have your whole month, but we didn't experience a whole month of learning it.
Right.
And
I
I
think
know there
more
was an
so
entire
now.
year that I didn't learn about it at all, my 10th
Yeah.
grade year. Um, because I can't remember what history it was, but it wasn't incorporated into our history classes.
Well, yeah, because I took American history in ninth, 10th, and 11th grade, and I did not
Yeah.
hear too much. There was a little blurb. They talked about, you know,
Your
like,
basics,
it's
right?
funny, yeah. They
I
talk
mean,
about
I
Langston
don't want to
Hughes.
say it's your basics because, of course, you don't look at them that way, right? But to the common history book out there, you learn about, Frederick Douglass, you learn about Langston Hughes, you learn about like your regulars.
Yeah.
I don't know what the right word is. That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Well, only because like the stuff,
Your
some of the
main
stuff,
pioneers.
yeah, some of the stuff that they did was good, and you couldn't hide it, so you had to kind of like, oh yeah, this is when so and so did, Langston Hughes.
But you learn about the same people, like,
Right.
right? You
Yeah.
don't learn new information
Right.
until you're able to kind of take that time and learn on your own, where then you're like, oh, I had no idea that all of
Yeah, the
this.
internet is the best invention and the worst invention.
That is correct.
You know.
Yes.
So circling back to your names, what he was named, places that have been named after Mr. Woodson. Way too many to list here, but there are charter schools. I'm seeing libraries, middle, elementary schools from places like Baltimore to Chicago, Texas. I see one in Los Angeles and New Canton, Virginia, where he was born. There's a road named after him. The University of Virginia has the Carter G. Woodson Institute for African American and African Studies. So he definitely has made a lasting impression across the country, that people are, recognizing and making sure that he is well known, not just, a footnote when you're talking about this month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's how it should be.
And it's just ironic that all this stuff is happening now, even though, I mean, we've known for a while American history, needs a big chunk, more pages put in it, for Black histories. So
or its own book?
I'm a fan of having it all in one book. Only because
It sounds like you don't want to carry more than one book.
yeah, only because I think, it kind of, makes people study the whole thing. Like you have a whole year of school, right? You know, so you can section off parts of it and say, we're going to do this, or, let's just say September, October, November, January, February, March, April, May, June. When school's out, you have time to study all of that. So, and I think having it in one book would help teachers like be able to target it a little bit too, and they can go over stuff and help kids learn and can add to it. So
I think it'd be fun to Herb's point about a book or just putting all these things together. There, I had mentioned earlier before we started taping that there are actually other countries who also devote a whole month to celebrating Black history. Two of them being Canada and the UK. And I'd be interested to actually see a little bit of their curriculum or see what it is that they're focusing on compared to us.
Right.
What they consider Black history or whatever.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Do we know
that
anybody
is
from Canada
interesting.
or from the UK? Oh, we do know somebody from Canada who we could ask to try to see.
I don't know if he grew up there like that.
That is true, right? But we could ask and see.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what they do learn. Is it different than what we're learning? Is it more information? Is it better?
Right.
Because they could be learning.
Yeah,
they could be definitely learning.
Like you said,
we don't know.
Right. Because like you said, when I was a kid, I did not get that much information when I was in high school.
No. I mean, I personally, myself, I was able to, through my church, learn about African history or, in African American history. But that was because my church was the African Methodist Church.
Right.
So, if I didn't go through that course, I don't believe that I would be as informed as I am now.
Right? Yeah.
Or
that's
as
what I'm saying.
formed as I was then.
The internet is a very, very important tool because now you can find out more and more information. And if you know, because empowering your fingers to do research would be very, very vital.
But you'll also be very surprised at how many people you have around you that actually went to school for, Black history, African history.
Yeah, African American history, yeah.
And it's wild how now we're starting to see oh, you graduated and you have, oh, wow, okay. It's cool. So I'm actually learning from a lot of people too as well about the history, not just the internet.
And, I think with that being said, I think this is a good stopping point for this segment of our Black History podcasts. We're going to do a few more about different facts and individuals, throughout the history here in the U.S. and across the world. If we can find some more information, again, from other countries too, that'd be great. But also we can maybe get into talking about education and maybe where are some of the deficiencies that we see and, how we could, or we would like to see it done better, done differently to better, educate and inform.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great stopping point here.
Yes,
so
it is.
Right.
Do for the next one.
History.
Black history. I love that.
History. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Check us out. We're doing a lot of things.
Subscribe, like Herb says.
Subscribe to all the platforms. Now we have a surprise. We're on what?
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Oh my gosh, yes. Ooh, let's do something special about that.
Sounds good. See ya.
The Real to Real podcast is presented by Herbert Williams Baffoe and Bianca Mosquitis. Our producer is Ben Runyon. Our technical director is Nick Patry. Audio and video lead is Megan Kottner. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram at Real to Real and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or anywhere else podcasts are found. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. It's been real with Coach Herb and B.